How's it, guys? I am Luhle, for those who don't know, and I'm joined by Fanie here next to me. Welcome to the November 2024 Curated Sub Box. Today we bring our bag one coffee, which is the La Palma Bio Innovation Washed Coffee. Fanie's already started brewing this coffee and already it's smelling incredible. And I think this is to do very much with the profile of this coffee. This coffee is very bright, tropical from what we've tasted. And it's very fun to me because this is a coffee that I used, well, the farm that we worked with for my first competition in 2020, beginning of 2024, with the natural version of this specific coffee. So we're now working with the bio washed when we had the bio natural initially. And I think the difference between the two coffees would have been this coffee is far more cleaner in a way. And yeah, so just to talk about La Palma as a farm, since working with them, we found them to be one, not only leading experts in providing incredibly high quality, flavorful coffees, but also I think the leading charge on farming practices around coffees. So yeah, we work with Felipe Sadi out at La Palma, and these guys are doing incredible work.
Yeah, he's a qualified microbiologist, I think.
Yes.
And his partner, or the partner on the farm, is also, I think, like a qualified environmentalist or something.
Indeed, Elisa. So they are experts in the field of farming practices, and I think one of the main things that around their studies as well is organic farming, which in this case here has to do a lot with the processing method, which has resulted in this big flavorful coffee that we have and enjoying. So kind of the steps that are taken for the specific processing is that around La Palma are beautiful forests that the team takes a substrate out of them. So it's a substance that they use in the processing. And the idea behind this is to have coffees that are incredibly amazing for sensory. So we have better texture for the coffee, but also provides us with the bright tropical notes as well. So the lactic acids, the tartric acids that come from the substrate are what give us the beautiful velvety.
So these microbacteria are local to the indigenous forest. So they're harnessing a bunch of different like locally sourced ingredients, and they're using members of the community's coffees. These La Palma lots. The coffee is bought from surrounding farms and is processed on La Palma. So it's like a community upliftment program. What is the name of the program? It's the Neighbors and Crops program. That's the one.
That is indeed. So we are pretty stoked to work with these guys because, as Fanie has alluded, they're not elevating the quality of their own coffees, but also the coffees of the surrounding areas. And it being from Colombia, as we know, the coffees from that country and that origin are incredibly amazing. So we're super excited to be working with them, and we're super excited to have this coffee in the box. And yeah, surely we'll be having more of those.
Sorry to leave the frame there. As a side note, while we're waiting on our support crew to bring us cups from the other side of the room, we have got the blue bag from last month for you guys as well. That was kind of mooey. It was one of our washed Kenyan coffees that we had selected, that we had not. I don't believe it's been released in the subscription box yet. And I don't think it was featured. Did we feature kind of mooey as bag 3 at some point?
Yes.
Yeah, we did indeed. Yeah, cool. Confirmation from the back. So yeah, kind of mooey. It's an awesome Kenyan coffee. It's actually been my favorite of the bunch for the season. It's a little bit counter to what we usually expect from Kenyan coffees, but it's still got like a really high clean sugar sweetness, where some of the other Kenyan coffees, the highlight is really the acidity and the balance of acidity and sweetness, where this coffee is just like really sweet forward. So yeah, that's Blue Bag for the month of October. And then obviously we'll let you guys know what Blue Bag for the month of November is in next month's subscription video. But back to this La Palma, we've just finished brewing it. As with these kind of like high intervention coffees that are heavily processed, especially using anaerobic fermentations and stuff that's gone beyond just a normal natural, we see the coffee percolates pretty fast. So we've had a couple months in a row where bag one has been a coffee that prefers a finer grind size. 2 months ago was Delagua, last month was the El Socorro washed, and this month obviously we have the La Palma Bio Innovation washed. So I used a 3-pour recipe on the April brewer for this coffee. 3 equal pours of 80 grams each for a total of 240 grams of water and 15 grams of coffee. So that kind of allows me to split the pours up over 45-second gap, so 0, 45 seconds, and 130. And that coffee then percolates in about 2 minutes, 25 seconds, so like a really fast contact time. But again, these coffees tend to extract very easily, so a fast extraction like that is kind of what we're looking for these coffees. The Bio Natural from the same farm was a similar type of extraction that we used for that too. And this coffee kind of like has a beautiful effervescent clean sweetness, lots of sherbety sweetness, and then some fruit characteristics. I don't know what the flavor notes are on the bag.
Cranberry, potentially. Cranberry and apple sherbet. I'm keen to know, Fanie, from your viewpoint, I mean, we've had the natural version of the coffee and the sub box in the past.
Yeah.
From a cup profile point of view, between the natural and the washed version, how would you differentiate the coffees from a cup profile?
So I think that both the flavor intensity in both coffees is quite like a highlight. So where with coffees that have a lower level of intervention, like washed coffees, natural coffees, the flavor intensity sometimes can vary. Where with both of these coffees, both the bio washed and the bio natural, the flavor intensity was like a real kicker. It was a super high intensity coffee. So the natural to me was a little bit more sweet, right? But a little bit less complex. So with the washed coffee to me, we have that effervescent sweetness. We've got those beautiful malic notes. So it's like a very dynamic drinking experience. The coffee cools, very different to the way that it tastes when it's warm. So the washed coffee, as I said, is just a lot more complex, where the natural is super texture focused, super sweetness focused, really, really fantastic coffee with a very, very strong identity, where there's a little bit more interpretation, it's a little bit more up to interpretation how you want to brew this coffee and kind of what flavor experience you want to produce from it. I think there can be a few more different kinds of interpretations of the washed coffee.
100%. And just in addition to that, I think in my experience of drinking this coffee is that it's a great showcase of how processing can really elevate quality of a coffee. It's really maintained how delicate the coffee is, but at the same time has brought out new life to the coffee with processing. So it's a great balance of the two, and I think we're super stoked to be having this coffee with us. And I hope you all enjoy it at home.
Awesome, guys. We'll see you in the next subscription video.